1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister says the government is offering subsidy and financial support in different sectors to provide relief to the weaker segments. The Foreign Minister has said the peace agreement being signed between the United States and the Afghan Taliban tomorrow will set the tone for an inclusive intra-Afghan dialogue. Under an agreement signed in Islamabad today, the European Union will provide 13 million euros to Pakistan for public financial management. Pakistan and Kazakhstan have agreed to expand bilateral cooperation in diverse fields. The United Nations Secretary-General and the United Nations Human Rights Council have expressed concern over the violence against Muslims in New Delhi. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference says the Indian Prime Minister's attempts to dub Kashmiri's freedom struggle as terrorism have failed. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says the government is offering subsidy and financial support in different sectors to provide relief to the weaker segments of the society. He was chairing a review meeting of the impact of the government's subsidy in different sectors for the provision of relief to the low-income and weaker segments of the society in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister said apart from provision of subsidy, it should be ensured that the amount proves beneficial for the concerned people and the specific purpose. Talking about energy and other sectors and the government's efforts to reduce burden on the people, he said the present government will not allow shifting of the burden of corruption, administrative malpractices and negligence on the people. Expressing satisfaction over the success of staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund, he said it is an achievement of the government to save the people from mini budget during the current fiscal year. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says the peace agreement between the United States and the Afghan Taliban will set the tone for an inclusive intra-Afghan dialogue. Talking to the Afghan media in Doha today, he said tomorrow is a big day for Afghanistan. He said it is a great opportunity. Earlier in a statement, the Foreign Minister said representatives from 50 countries, including foreign ministers of different countries, will be attending the signing ceremony. He said Pakistan has been invited to become a part of this entire process and participate in it. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said it is an honor for Pakistan and acknowledgement of its efforts. The Afghan officials are set to meet the Taliban members in Qatar today ahead of an agreement between the United States and the Taliban. Government officials said in Kabul that the 6-member delegation of junior ministers and a senior security official will hold preliminary talks with some Taliban leaders in Doha to set the timeline for the withdrawal of the American troops from Afghanistan. An agreement worth 13 million euros has been signed between Pakistan and the European Union for public financial management. The agreement was inked by the Secretary Economic Affairs Division Syed Parvez Abbas and the European Union Ambassador to Pakistan Andrula Kaminara in Islamabad. Under the agreement, the European Union will provide assistance to bring improvement in macro-fiscal policies, process of budget preparation and forecasting. Pakistan and Kazakhstan have agreed to expand bilateral cooperation in investment, health, communications, energy and pharmaceutical fields. The agreement was reached at the 9th meeting of the Joint Economic Commission in Islamabad today. The final document of the meeting was signed by the Foreign Secretary Sohail Mahmood and Kazakhstan's First Deputy Foreign Minister Shakrat Nurishev. Speaking on the occasion, the Foreign Secretary said Pakistan and Kazakhstan are hopeful for the promotion of cooperation in different fields. The Senate was informed today that special isolation wards have been established at hospitals in major cities. The Leader of the House, Shibli Faraz, responding to a point of order, said special desks at all the airports have also been set up to detect the patients with coronavirus. He said the Ministry of National Health Services has adopted proactive measures to tackle the situation. The House initiated discussion on a clubbed motion. Initiating the debate, the opposition leader Raja Mohammad Zafrul Haq said the world has realized that people of occupied Kashmir are not safe anymore. He also condemned anti-Muslim riots and inaction of the local police in the Indian capital, New Delhi. This is Radio Pakistan. The Foreign Office spokesperson has underlined that resolution of the Kashmir issue through Kashmiris' inalienable right to self-determination has always been the priority of Pakistan. Briefing the media representatives of Azad Jammu and Kashmir in Islamabad today, the spokesperson reiterated Pakistan's unshakable resolve to completely support the people of occupied Kashmir in realization of their just, inalienable right to self-determination. The media representatives were briefed on the steps taken by the government of Pakistan and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in effectively highlighting the Kashmir issue at all international and important fora. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has urged the Indian leaders to invoke the spirit of Gandhi to bring about an end to the violence in New Delhi against the Muslims protesting against the controversial Citizenship Amendment law. The spokesman Stefan Durejic, in response to a question at the United Nations headquarters in New York, said the United Nations chief has been following the situation and was saddened by the reports of deaths that we have seen over the past few days in New Delhi. He said the Secretary-General again reiterates his call for maximum restraint. The United Nations Human Rights Council Chief Michelle Bachelet has expressed serious concern over the ongoing anti-Muslim violence in India. At a session of the Council in Geneva, the rights chief highlighted the excesses committed by the Indian government against the people of occupied Kashmir as well as against Muslims across India through the Citizenship Amendment Act. The United Nations rights chief also expressed grave concern over the police inaction during deadly violence against Muslims in New Delhi and use of brute force against peaceful protesters. In occupied Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference has said the international community has started realizing the urgency of settling the Kashmir dispute in accordance with the United Nations resolutions and the Kashmiris' aspirations for ensuring peace and stability in South Asia. An APHC spokesman in a statement in Srinagar said the recent statements of the United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres and the American President Donald Trump on Kashmir showed that the world was concerned about the implications of the unresolved Kashmir dispute. He pointed out that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's attempts to dub the Kashmiris' freedom struggle as terrorism have failed, and now India's real face stands exposed in front of the entire world. Turkey has called on the international community to impose a no-fly zone in Syria to protect the civilians from airstrikes in the Idlib region. Communications Director Fahrettin Altun, in a tweet, said countries that back Syrian President Bashar al-Assad will lose all their credibility if they fail on the commitment to reduce violence and hostilities in Idlib. And now news about sports. England women cricket team beat Pakistan women by 42 runs in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in Canberra today. In the 10th match of the Pakistan Super League at Multan against Multan Sultans, Karachi Kings were 95 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in 12 overs a short while ago. Batting first, Multan Sultans have set a victory target of 187 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in 20 overs. And finally, the weather. Rain, wind, thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad, Upper Punjab, Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan during the next 24 hours. Hailstorm is also expected at a few places during the period. To end the news, here once again are some of the headlines. The Prime Minister says the government is offering subsidy and financial support in different sectors to provide relief to the weaker segments. The Foreign Minister has said peace agreement being signed between the United States and the Afghan Taliban tomorrow will set the tone for an inclusive intra-Afghan dialogue. Those were some of the headlines, and that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.